Drugs. Have you ever tried drugs before? You haven't. That's very good. But you want to have a feeling that's very close to taking drugs? Watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's probably the closest thing that you can get to drugs, and I have seen it. So before I talk about this anime, I want to tell you guys something. This is not a video of me literally breaking down the entire series, freaking one on one. I'm gonna tell you everything that I know about it, freaking Easter eggs, endings, secret endings, characters. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm treating this video as a review, just like any other anime that I have reviewed. Uh, and yeah, so if you expect like freaking new things, Easter eggs, freaking like out of the pocket things that comes out of my mouth, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not. But I will treat this like a normal review. So let's start. So the initial premise of this anime is basically we are introduced in this world where angels, which are the big aliens, also there's gonna be spoilers because this is like a freaking 30-year-old anime. We are introduced in this world where there are angels, which are these freaking omniscient beings. Well, not omniscient, but just freaking long alien creatures that invade Earth ever so often. And this is gonna be very hard to explain because I'm so confused about it too. And then there's this organization known as Nerve who tries their best to basically get rid of the aliens, get rid of the angels, right? And they use these very big robots, like freaking Pacific Rim robots called Evangelions. And we are introduced to three people who are gonna be the core protagonists of this anime. Wei, Shinji, and Asuka. They are the core freaking protagonists of this anime, right? And they are all they are they this is I'm trying to explain this. It's very hard because it is a confusing anime. They are destined to pilot these three Evas, which is the Guardians, basically just to save Earth from the third impact. There has been a first and a second impact, and that has really freaking destroyed the world or destroyed part of the world, and we are now between the second and third impact, and basically they have to try their best to stop it. But there's something about this anime that's very not normal. This isn't like your typical freaking robot killing aliens, freaking getting along kids anime. This is not what it is. This isn't that. What this is that this is actually a freaking psychological anime. That's what it is, a psychological anime. It's very, very interesting, very out of pocket, and I have so many things to talk about. So before I start, I know that the director of this anime, or the creator of this anime, the writer of this anime, is someone who was very depressed. I feel like what happened was that during making this, may be wrong, this is just my interpretation, I didn't do really any research. I going to imagine that this director wanted to was making this anime, and then for some reason he got hit by depression, and throughout, or maybe this is before, maybe he had depression, then he made this series, but he was making a normal freaking robot movie, and then after like 18 episodes, it started to get very psychological, very like depressing, very weird, and yeah, that's how it is. He just let out his feelings on a TV show, which is interesting. It really is good, but I feel like that's what happened. So I'm gonna go back to the premise again. Basically, I'm gonna try and sum up the best I can. So basically, the these Evas that are three kids, also known as the children, have to pilot these Evas, and how they pilot them is that they have to use their heads. They have to get in and they have to physically connect with these Evas, because these Evas are actually angels. These are like angels, like these are like living human, like they're not robots, they're like living creatures, aliens, angels basically. And what they do is that they connect to the three children because that's who they need. I don't know why they use children. I don't even know why they use children in the first place. I don't know why they can't just use adults, but I don't know. I haven't freaking thought of that yet. However, what happens is that when they connect, for some reason it kind of like activates like a big neuron thing where they show like the darkest things and stuff. This doesn't happen like in the first 14 episodes. Literally in the first like maybe 15, 16 episodes, it's just your typical robot fighting, defending Earth. Oh, there's this nerve. Oh, and then there's also this secret organization which is known as SEAL that's trying to stop this, and and that's kind of like what it is. But then it gets very weird because each of the four characters, there's also a fourth one who is Misato. Misato is the fourth, like not the fourth child, the first children, but she is also part of the cast. She is also affected by this, and what happens is that the four of them have different sort of like traumas and issues that they have, and when they connect to the Evas, and I don't know about Masato, I think we just see her normally, but when the three of them connect to the Evas, we really get to see like who they are and like what's going on with them, and it's very easy to detect. So Shinji is someone who is depressed, he is lonely, he feels useless, and he's suicidal. That's who he is. He's a very suicidal person, and he thinks that he is useless, he doesn't belong here, he should just kill himself, right? And him being the main protagonist of this show, we get to see a lot about him. Like in the beginning of the episodes, like you see him like sad, listening to music, being freaking weird. He's just piloting because he thinks that piloting the Eva is like the only thing that he's destined to do, and he feels so good piloting the Eva that if he doesn't do that no more, he feels utterly useless. So when he tried to leave, when he left the organization, he was like very depressed, very lonely, felt like he just didn't do anything, so he was like very sad. And when he came back to pilot the Eva, next thing you know, boom, he's alright, right? And we see a lot of him. Like the way this anime is as like a whole is very psychological. It felt like I was playing freaking Doki Doki Literature Club again. That's what it felt like, right? But yeah, we see like how he is as a person. Like there's like different art styles that happen. I'm talking about the last two episodes, which was very interesting. Like the last two episodes were very very interesting. It was. I've also just got back from watching the end of Evangelion 2. I kind of want to dive more into that because, to be completely honest, the plot of this TV show is literally very confusing. The only thing I know about this plot is that they killed basically most of the angels trying to prevent the third impact, and then brain fog. So they were trying to prevent the third impact. However, there's this secret organization trying to basically, I don't know what they're trying to do, but they want to like stop Nerve from doing something because the Shinji's father is trying to push the human instrumentality project, which is like a project where they want to get everybody on Earth like conscious and make it into just a one single like conscious being, because they believe that humans are just utterly useless and they're not powerful enough. So they think that if they just combine every single human into one conscious organism, it would do much better for the world, right? And that's what they want to do. And that's also what we saw a little bit in the end of Evangelion. We saw Lilith. Lilith was kind of like, I guess, like the first angel, I believe so, like the first thing of a human. And then Y basically just freaking collab with her or him, and she turned into a big white creature, right? And it was very weird. I know this is very disorganized, but this anime is disorganized. I understand the plot. The plot is very interesting. It's just very hard to say with my words. But that's kind of what it is. So obviously, they just have to stop all the angels. That you get a lot of backstory. Shinji being depressed. Asuka just needs some sort of like attention from some sort of mother figure or some sort of person, and that's why she acts like she's like mean. She's like doing weird things, like going up to what's his name? Shoot, I'm not good with name. I think it's Kaji. Like freaking going up to him, showing him her breasts, which is very weird. Kissing Shinji out of freaking nowhere. Like she does that because she needs some sort of attention, because her mother was crazy. She literally hanged herself, which was out of pocket. Freaking like, holy crap. Obviously that broke her because the mother was very, very like I think she was just not mentally there, because she was like playing with this doll who's supposed to be like Asuka, but she didn't do it. So the whole thing about Asuka is that she's just traumatized. She just needs some sort of like attention figure there. Y is very interesting. She is basically a clone. She shows no emotion, but the more you progress through the story, the more you see that she actually gains some sort of conscious emotion. Um, so like in the beginning of the series, I remember her having some sort of emotion, and then throughout like the anime, she just loses emotion because she's not a real human. She's literally a clone of I'm pretty sure Shinji's mother, because for some reason Shinji's mother and her look very much similar, but she's a clone. And then as like somewhere around episode like 1920, you see her like crying, so she's gaining some sort of emotion, which is very good. And then after that, she just becomes very weird. She like, she's an Eva. She sacrifices herself. They then find out she's a clone, and then everything starts to go to pieces. And then that's all I can say about why she's a very interesting character. Masato. So Masato is I don't know like what her problem is, but I feel like what she wants is that she just wants some sort of like distraction from something. Like I think she's depressed because throughout the series you see her like doing weird things. Maybe she's under stress a lot because she's really like the commander of Nerve, telling the three children where to go, what to do. She's like the commanding leader. She's like the general of this organization, right? So she's very stressed. So you see her like drinking so much beers, taking in the three children, because I feel like she wants some sort of like talking, like people to talk to like distract herself from that, to less stress. You see her freaking making love with Taji, drinking a lot of alcohol, and then kissing Shinji, which is very weird. That was very out of pocket. It really was. Hold on. So yeah, the characters in this anime is very weird. Obviously, we got other characters in here. I'm not really good with names when it comes to movies. I don't know why I suck with names. It's like literally the worst thing I have. If I could like name people in movies, and if I remember their names, it would be so much better to explain. But Shinji's father is kind of like the antagonist of this movie. He was very neglectful of Shinji, which is also contributes to his freaking depression, because he just didn't have a father figure growing up. So he had to rely on Masato as basically his parent, which is kind of sad. It honestly is kind of sad. But enough from the plot. The plot is very confusing for me to explain. It's like I understand the plot, what it's trying to go for, but me saying it out loud is very hard to explain. It is. And this anime, from what I watch, has two endings. I haven't watched the rebirth or the rebirth arc or era or timeline yet, but I've only seen the two endings. Obviously, the series ending was very anticlimactic. It kind of was, but that felt like a good ending, while the end of Evangelion felt like it was the worst ending that could have possibly happened. The thing I like about the series finale, or the 25-26 series finale, is that it was like very out of pocket, out of the ballpark. Like it didn't feel like it belonged to the series. Like it felt like when you came in watching the series, you're like, wow, this is a really cool robot show. And then as you progress through the TV series around freaking like episode 18, you start to think, holy crap, maybe there's something more to this series than I thought. And then when you reach around 25-26, the series ending, you're just like in this mindset of like, what the hell is even happening in this anime? And the way they do it is very interesting. They like switch between like different animations. There was this point which caught me off guard. They showed like real life images. They also showed real life images in the end of Evangelion, with like showing the theatrical people in there, like the people in the movie theater, then like disappearing, and then showing like weird things like a cat on a building, and even people walking through a town. Like, this was a very interesting anime. It was like, again, this is a psychological anime. I've never seen this done before on a TV show where it's just like this. But in the TV series finale. Um, it's basically you're diving into Shinji's mind and also the other people's mind. But I want to talk a little bit more about Shinji. You get more into his mind, right? You see what he is, and as you progress deeper through his mind and through his conscious, and him kind of like gaining some sort of like value in his life, you get to see like the animation style like change from like crayons to like freaking lines to a big white blank screen. And then after all that ends, you see him, talking, like you see like different forms of Shinji. Like you see him in like his normal form, and then you see him in like a text box kind of form. And then after that, it just was all the way back to color, where you see like the entire crew, the entire cast, like clapping to Shinji, saying like, "Congratulations, you have found value in your life." And then next thing you know, boom, the series ends. I can go more deeper into that, but this is kind of hard to explain. Like you see, like it's very interesting. It really is. And then obviously you see more about Asuka. You see more about like what she is, like how it happened to her mother. You know, she hanged herself, and then you see her like going crazy too, and then you see why, which is just her like trying to figure out. Oh wow, she has emotions now. I'm actually a clone. What's going on? What's happening? And then Masato, you see more of like, oh, she's also very weird and going crazy. And then I forgot. No, this wasn't in another Evangelion. No, it wasn't in Evangelion. It wasn't in the series. But yeah, you see a lot more of that, right? It's a very interesting TV show. It really is. It's very like I don't even know what else to say. It's just it plays with your mind a lot. I know the director of this show was depressed. I know he was, but the way they implemented it into here is literally perfect. It is. It's really good. It's very like messing with your mind. Actual like drug trip happening, but it caught me off guard. There was also this. I was talking to a friend over text about this show when I finished it because I was just freaking mind blown by what I just freaking experienced. But I suggested this. There was this point in the series where it showed an alternate reality of like what could have happened if Shinji had like value in his life and he just didn't interact with like the nerve bots or whatever. And it's like it starts off like a slice of life anime, and it shows like her and Asuka being childhood friends, just your typical slice of life anime, and then Wei being the like a transfer student. So then they have like a freaking like it's like a very alternate reality of like it's just like like what could have happened if Shinji had value, or like this didn't happen, or it's just another possibility of what could have happened. I feel like if they made that segment of the episode like a full on episode, I feel like that would have played with someone like a lot of people's heads so much, because you would have went from like traumatizing depression, friggin' what's going on here, like flashing screens and all that, to literally like the next episode just being like this slice of life anime, and it's just showing it, and then next thing you know it ends normally with like the same intro, and then it ends normally with freaking Ray spinning under the moonlight in like a silhouette kind of way, and then next thing you know, then the series finale ends, and then you're just confused like what the frick did I just watch. And then it does explain, oh, this could have been another possibility you could have had, and then it probably would have been funny. That would have been way cool, because when I first saw that scene in the episode where it just turned into like a weird slice of like anime, like what the frick is going on, I like freaking jumped out my seat, like what the hell is happening here. And then after that, obviously, it goes to the animation. He's finally finding value in himself, and then next thing you know, they all clap to him. Congratulations, credits, boom, that's it. And I was there like, what did I just watch? That was not what I expected at all. That wasn't. That was just out of ballpark, left field. Freaking, that was not a home run. That was like, wow. I was kind of like mad about that series, about that ending, because it just didn't feel like it fit, because it was a good ending. It actually was. He finally found value in himself. So after that whole controversy, I wasn't the only person who found that out, who found that kind of bad. A lot of people did, to the point that they started sending death threats to him. I did some research about this, about like why is the two endings, and apparently, is it Hadaki? Hadaki basically made the end of Evangelion as like a response to the death threats. So he said, which is also a great response. So he said, "Oh, you guys didn't like my freaking happy ending. How about we just make this depressed as crap?" So that's the end of Evangelion, and that's how it gets very weird, right? And you can kind of see him like this is some sort of like response to the backlash of the ending of the series, because it shows the theater of audience, and then all of a sudden just disappearing. So it's kind of like, oh, by the way, this is your guys' play as well, and then it plays like this weird like flashing screen for like 30 seconds, trying to like just what's going on, and it shows like different images and all that, and it's very weird. Like the beginning of the episode 25 of this movie, I guess the freaking alternate ending of this series was just basically they wanted to infiltrate Nerve. I think Seal wanted to infiltrate Nerve, so they kill all the Nerve clients, the Nerve staff. So I don't know if they want to prevent it or start the Human Instrumentality Project, but they infiltrated it, right? And then obviously Shinji just didn't feel like he was the best. I know, like he was just super depressed. I remember seeing the freaking hospital scene, both freaking jerked off to Asuka, you know, freaking the comatose of her freaking letting it out on her, which is very weird. That's like the most infamous scene of this anime, and I can see why. That was very disgusting. I don't know why he would do that, but again, the reason why he probably did that is because he is at his lowest point. He even said it. He is a broken individual, so I guess he needed like some sort of like relief from that, like a temporary relief from that. So he just freaking rubbed it off to her. I guess that's, I don't know, but they infiltrated it. Misato's trying to get him away, trying to protect all the third children, because they need the third children in order to prevent the third impact from happening if they get it. So that's what she does. She protects Shinji. She calls the people to basically get Asuka into the Evangelion suit, because she's better there than staying in the hospital, because if she's just gonna stay there in the hospital, she's just gonna die. And then obviously Wei, she don't know where she is, but Wei, apparently she goes with Shinji's dad into seeing Lilith, who is that being like Lilith and Adam, right? And then I'm pretty sure Asuka, I know Asuka did something with Adam, like she joined forces with Adam, or was it Wei who joined forces with Lilith? I forgot which one it was, but I know Wei joined forces with Lilith because she turned into that big white creature, like a giant Wei, which is very interesting, the whole point, because this is signaling like the third impact is happening. So then we go back to, Masato and Shinji. Masato gets shot, she dies. I'm like, what the frick? Why did she die? Very weird. She also kisses Shinji, which is also very weird, because I know there in Japan the age of consent is different, but here in America, seeing a little like 27-year-old lady kiss a 14-year-old boy is kind of weird. But I don't know. She dies sad. Shinji has to go pilot it, but but he can't pilot it because, well, I don't know, his state, and it's also like covered in goo, so they have to stop it. And then all that happens, and then all of a sudden, Asuka's there, she's awake, she feels very mad. I think she consumed some sort of, I think it was the atom, I don't know what it was, I forgot, but she got very mad, she felt very powerful, so she just freaking obliterated all the freaking artificial Evas that was trying to infiltrate and basically blow up Nerve, right? And then obviously CO and all that, they just did one heck of a, if we can't do this, then we're just gonna have to get in there, so blow up the freaking building, kill everybody, freaking scorched earth, everything, right? And then all of a sudden the credits play in the middle of the series. I have never seen that before. When the credits play and they played that song, which is a really good song, that really got me confused. I'm like, why are the credits playing? And then I realized, oh, this is a movie where it's like supposed to be the 2 episodes, like a remake of the 2 episodes to appeal more to the people. And to be completely honest, I really like the movie ending better than um I like the movie ending better than the TV series ending, because it just felt more like it connected more to the story, rather than the TV series ending just feeling like it was out of place. Like it's like it didn't finish the story. I know they killed Karako or Karu, I forgot his name, because he was the final angel, uh, and they were controlling him. Right. What happened was that I know that the artificial Evas that Asuka was fighting was basically um, his power, right? Because Kurako was used for the final angel. He was used to power those artificial Evas, and he was also the dummy test for when Shinji quit and then he came back, right? So he also has a big play in it. And then it's very freaking unorganized, but I don't care. But the credits played, and then after the like episode 26 or 26 Prime or whatever, was like the big mind-boggling drugs. Freaking what the heck is even going on in this series? You see a lot more of Shinji, like him, like not getting better, like he's just getting more and more like depressed and more broken as a human. Well, to the point he like chokes people. He like chokes Asuka, and then even like his father, who is initially Shinji was very scared of his father. Now his father is very scared of him, thinking that he's gonna be like a freaking like torturer, abuser, like he's gonna be even worse than him as a father, right? And that's kind of like what happens. You see like different screens. Like this is very good, like the way they do it. So they show like people talking, to try and cheer them up, and you see like different timelines. Like instead of like it being the slice of life anime, you see like a different one. Well, Shinji and Wei and Asuka like bullying. I think they were bullying him, or they were like making fun of him. Like it wasn't the best ending. And then after like drug trip happens, um, Why and Kwaku being the like Lilith, and they're like initiating the third impact, because this is literally the third impact is happening right before your very eyes. And then when Shinji came to his senses, it just started to stop. Wei, I don't know if she died, but she like freaking did this kind of move, like she just freaking sat back and her neck was like slit and all that. And you see like these crosses, also very religious. There was a lot of like freaking religious symbolism in this movie, like so many crosses. Even Lilith is supposed to like symbolize like the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Maybe this is a symbolism of the second coming of Christ. Who knows? That's what I thought. Like, holy crap, maybe this is a depiction of like what could happen if Jesus Christ came back on Judgment Day. Like maybe that's what would happen, right? But again, the deeper meaning is that this is a more bad ending. This is not like a TV series ending. It gets very gruesome, very weird, and then next thing you know, you see Shinji and Asuka basically like on this beach where they were like laying right next to each other, Asuka being like passed down and Shinji there being awake with like their hands like these. And then you see Shinji basically choke Asuka, because he is at that point, well, he didn't find any value in himself, he's just more of a broken man. So he just chokes Asuka. Obviously Asuka touches his head, and he stops willingly. Like him stopping was a big symbol of like he is coming to terms. And then obviously Asuka says, "Wow, you're disgusting, man." Most likely because he either choked him, or she probably knows that he just went off on her, I guess. And then the movie ends. Credits roll. No credits, actually. The credits freaking roll mid-movie, I guess. That happened. And yeah, that's as far as I got. That's my take on what I got from the show. I can try and summarize it one more time. Basically, episode 1 to 14 or 15 or somewhere around the middle of the series is kind of like your typical robot show. You get a lot about it. You get like a lot of like antagonists. Like you hate Shinji's father. You start to like You meet Rei and Shinji and Misato. Misato being kind of this happy person, and after a while you see what she is as a person. Then you meet Asuka when they were in Germany. She's a German child. You see her first in like a ship, and you meet all these different characters. I can't really go depth of the other characters because, to be completely honest, I don't even remember their names. But I know Taji's the Kohaku. There's a lot of different characters that play here. And then you get more into like 18, and from like 18 to literally the ending of the series is more of like you can see like what the actual purpose of this anime is to show like depression, show like what's happening with these characters, a more deeper side of what's going on, and that's why like it was really good. My favorite episode of this anime is definitely episode 20, because that was kind of like the start of like freaky things. Like that was like the start of like text boxes being like voices in someone's head, and the animation changing, like flashing images very fast and all that. Even the freaking credits changing. Even maybe I think the intro did change a little bit too, like actual Better Call Saul crap. And then the end of Evangelion, which was a more darker like aspect of like an alternate ending of what could have happened. I don't know which one to take canonically. Again, I still have to watch the Rebirth era because I'm pretty sure the Rebirth era is like a third alternate reality ending of this series, right? But so far, I do like the end of Evangelion as the ending to the series because it felt more better. It felt like it connected to it, while like the TV series ending just didn't really feel like it was connected to it at all. It was just very like anticlimactic, very weird, like what the heck did I just watch? But it was good. And then obviously seeing like the different animation styles changing and all that, seeing like real life images, fourth wall breaks happening, singing randomly, like voices and heads and all. Like you can Hideaki really shows you like what trauma, like what depression, what all these different issues feel like. And I feel like when you watch the series, specifically the end of Evangelion, you get to see or feel like you're going crazy as well. And that's kind of like what I got as well, because I'm confused. I'm like, what the heck is going on? But overall, this was a very good series and also a very good movie. I'll give the series a good 8 out of 10. I'll give the movie a good 8.5 out of 10. Again, I feel like it could have been better. It could have been, if it wasn't that confusing. The series was a little confusing. But overall, it was very enjoyable. A lot of people didn't get to watch this series because they found the first couple of like episodes very boring, not very interesting. I felt that, but I got over it, and I'm kind of happy that I did watch the entirety of the series, where I get to even watch the movie, which was very good and highly like controversial, very like highly rated. But I'm happy I watched it. It was really good. Would I recommend watching this anime? Yes, you should watch it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching this video already watched it, but it was a very good anime. I still have to watch the Rebirth era, so that's coming soon. I think there's, I also know that there's also like another movie which is like the Rebirth and Death movie, which is kind of like a recap and also like an alternate ending, I guess. So I've been told not to watch that, but I'll probably still watch it because if it's a different thing, I guess I want to see what's different about it. I know it's a recap, but I'll still watch it, even though it's optional to watch it, right? But overall, a very, not anime, but a very different kind of TV show that I watched. Like, the closest I've gotten to this feeling is like Breaking Bad. Like, when I saw Breaking Bad, that was kind of like the most I felt emotions, and then also this, because this felt like a completely like different take on on a certain topic, like a certain like trauma or something, and that's kind of like what it felt like. And it was very weird and confusing, but it was really really good. Like it's good. But yeah, I'm not gonna hold it. This is a very long video, and my voice is always starting to freaking lose, and also my mom is coughing, which is kind of sad. Hopefully she feels better. She's just, I guess, she's sick a little bit, but yeah. That was a very good anime. I recommend that a lot, and also as a TV show, it's really really good. But yeah, Hopefully Hadaki is doing fine. Depression it's sad, it is, but eventually you'll get over it. Don't kill yourself. There's always a way. There always is a way. Very good anime. Very, very good. That's it. Thanks for watching.